Hello, 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 this is Xenokilla of TAW coming at you with another wonderful game of StarCraft 2 from the TAW Team League, featuring AlphaPhoenix from Team Hooder, playing in the yellow trunks, our Terran player in the bottom right-hand corner of Tal'Darim Altar LE. I guess that's the luxury edition, maybe get, extra air conditioning, maybe leather seats. So, his opponent, playing in the bottom left-hand corner, is TAWsubrat. I believe he's the team captain of the TAW Defense Force, playing Zerg. So, this map, very expansion heavy, easy to do, got a little bridge to nowhere there. Subrat send his overlord up there to scout, see where it's at. You've got a very easy to defend natural. You got a ramp here, lots of Protoss players will choke, you can put cannons up there, etc., etc. So, Subrat used the extractor trick to produce a little extra drone while his overlord makes. While his overlord is in production, we see Phoenix over here putting down a supply depot in his choke point, sending out a scout. Build, baby, build. You can see the command center down there. Looks like they're doing some pretty heavy welding. Must be rough to have to shove some poor jerk in an SCV suit. Anyway, so you see the overlord's going north. The drone is going east. The SCV is going west. SCV is going to find our Zerg player first and foremost. Isn't going to see too much. It looks like Subrat's going for an early expo. Yep. Pretty safe to grab because the rush distance, from the time it takes to build up a decent amount of units to get from one side of the map to the other. But then you definitely should have Zerglings on the map. So we see that the drone has gotten into Subrat's base, sees a regular old Terran opening, there's a barracks in there, so he's not trying to proxy racks or pull any shenanigans. Overlord's still headed north. See an Overlord headed east. Drone's coming back. SCV going in for another scout is going to see that there is an expansion going down. Probably, you'd automatically assume that there would be a spawning pool. In addition to that, also, Subrat grabbing his gas. SCV is kind of hiding in the trees. We'll see if he gets picked off or not. We have a second Rax coming down from our Terran player. Still only on one gas. In terms of probes, it's just about even with 15 for our Zerg player and 15 again for our Terran player. Check the APM, both players. Subrat down at about 37, AlphaPhoenix spamming all the way up to 130. Whatever. So we see that the hatchery for Subrat is gone and finished. Now he's producing 6lings for defense, or maybe a little early pressure. I don't know if that's a complete wall off or not. It doesn't look like it, so AlphaPhoenix might be in a little bit of trouble if those lings try to rush in, because he's only got 2 Marines on the base, and those lings will be done shortly. So we'll see if they decide to go push. We have a probe chasing an SCV, trying to grab the Zelnaga watchtower. And it looks like our Terran player is throwing down a factory and grabbing a second gas. We're definitely going to see a tech build from him. He's got his 3 Marines blocking the base. Going to be able to pick off this drone when he makes his way in there. And now we have 6 Zerglings just kind of hanging out. Maybe defensive purposes. We see a Spine Crawler out. Also for defensive purposes. He's probably expecting some sort of Marine Marauder early aggression. Producing a Queen. Always good to get that larva inject. Spawn larva. Target a hatchery. 4 larva in 40 seconds. He's also going to put down a creep tumor, which is nice. It'll be able to connect his main and his natural for a little bit of a creep highway. It's always kind of weird watching the creep. It kind of moves, actually, if you get down right underneath it, which is kind of unnerving. But, Zergs are bugs. What do you want? Got an Overlord just hanging out all the way up north. Ling coming in here, going to do some scouting. Going to see a bunch of Marines. Second Rax. Unfortunately, AlphaPhoenix is supply blocked at the moment. Gets over that. He's researching siege tech. Is putting up a bunker. Always good. And so that'll definitely prevent any sort of Ling-Baneling break. They should be able to make it through there, but the tank will definitely be able to thin out their numbers before they get there. So we see a starport coming out. So we have a 2 Rax, 1 factory starport build for our Terran player, and so far nothing much from our Zerg player. He's built a bunch of Lings and a Baneling nest. I guess I missed that. So it looks like Ling Baneling is going to be the order of the day for our Zerg player. In terms of harvesters, is 25 for our Terran player and 16 for our Zerg player, which is surprising because our Zerg player is on 2 base and our Terran player is only on 1. So you see a little bit of a macro slowdown from our Terran player. I'm sorry, from our Zerg player. Looks like he's hopping up to Lair Tech. He's got 3 Marines moving across the map. Can pick off the Overlord. I don't know how much they'll be able to see. This spine crawler here will definitely be able to take them out, especially with the Queen right next to him. They're going to try to kill these Overlords, but just mostly taking pot shots as the spine crawler goes stabby, stab, stab, stab. So the Lings with their metabolic boost surround it. We have the second gas just finishing up for our Zerg player. No probes in there just yet. Working on it, and we see our Terran player is loading up for a drop. So no Overlords in this area. We're going to see the dropship is going to end up right here where this green circle goes. Overlords on the other side checking the other way, and we see a command center being built. So we will see how effective this drop is going to be. Our Terran player building some missile turrets in anticipation of some mutaplay, always a safe bet. Also detection, not that too many Zerg... Actually, I don't think any Zerg units cloak. Interesting. So, we're going to see a little bit of a drop. We got a full ship of Marines here. No upgrades on the Marines just yet, but they might be able to pick off either the Baneling Nest or the probe, so we can see how many workers are going to get killed. 3, 4, 5, 6. You get 6 workers and then denies all mining at the main. Takes out the Queen, and they're going to get surrounded by the Lings. We're going to see if they're going to stick around or get picked up. Wow, continuing to do damage, fighting off all of the Lings. If Subrat isn't able to bring something down here to deal with this, he's going to be in trouble. So only losing 1 Marine is going to pick up and drop at the natural. So we might as well leave that tab up there for a second. So we have 9 workers killed. See how many workers now. They got to kill the Queen first. There goes the Queen, and now they can start on the workers. This is going to be rough. 10, 11, 12, ouch, 13 workers killed. So that's going to do some serious economic damage. Right now it's 32 harvesters for our Terran players versus only 17 for our Zerg player. So we should see our Zerg player drone up massively in an attempt to counter that. So now we see a little bit of a counterattack. Hellions going to take a swipe at them, but these Lings are going to come across this map and take out the Hellion. Even more Lings. With the speed, we're going to see what Subrats... Oh, it looks like he's going to morph in some Banelings. Still not producing probes just yet. He's at a little bit of an economic disadvantage because of that. Still 17 to 33, so our Terran player is pulling ahead, and his second base is almost fully saturated now. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a timing window before these bunkers got built and before these tanks were sieged up. That Subrat could have gone in and done some damage, but now with the 3 tanks here, as soon as those Lings get in this general area, they are going to get blasted all to heck. We see Ventral Sacs coming up. It looks like we might see a little drop from our Zerg player. So right now he's just hanging out outside the Terran base, going to try to keep an eye on things. Now he knows that there are tanks there, so he's going to try to run up the right side of the map to do as much damage as possible to these tanks. Not able to take any out, though. And you can see the little stain left from the Banelings. So that attack, unfortunately, completely ineffective. So now we see the bunkers empty and the tanks unsieged, so we might see a little bit of action from our Terran player. So you can check the income tab. Still a deficit for our Zerg player, 42 to 27. In terms of production, he's still producing Lings and Banelings. Might see a little bit of a push out. We've got a whole bunch of Marines. No Medivacs, though, which is interesting, because I'm pretty sure he did build a starport, but there are no Medivacs aside from the medevac and a quarter full of guys coming down here at the bottom left-hand corner of the map. So it looks like we're going to see a double assault from AlphaPhoenix. He's going to drop a siege tank, which is always annoying. And he's also going to attack from the front with his main group. So let's first watch. Yep, he's going to siege up and start doing damage. Even more probes are going to die. And then his main attack force, carrying an SCV, they're going to siege up here and just start pounding away at this natural expansion of Subrat. These Marines and these tanks will be able to easily pick that off, and Subrat calls a GG. It's a rough world out there for a Zerg. Alright, thank you very much for watching this game. Again, Zenokilla of TAW. Follow me on Twitter at Zenokilla. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. And check us out at TAW.net. Thank you again for watching. Zenokilla signing out.